Welcome back to Wario Land 2, and we're still doing Chapter 2.
Bobo.
That's a defeat Bobo, yeah.
Riff.
Yes,
Bobo.
Bobo.
For those who don't remember, Bobo is actually
behind all of this.
in case you don't remember, Bobo is actually a returning boss from the first game. So
Yes, you see, he's here to avenge his fallen mistress, Captain Syrup. That's why he's the one behind all this, of course.
Sure. I'm sure the Wario Land lore is very deep, and
It actually is, as of Shake It.
Wario has the deepest lore.
Yeah, not too sure about that, but you got
Yes.
lore.
yes, From Software I've got nothing on Wario Land.
Totally.
Yeah, I never liked that From Software a lot anyway. I mean, what is From Software? That doesn't even make any sense.
That is actually a good question. How'd they come up with the name From Software?
Java, companies have all those kind of weird names ever since the dawn of time, like System 3. So,
It's not-
I'm sorry. From Software. Like, there's just got to be a story behind From Software, unless the easy answer is that they just wanted a name that wasn't
Alright,
copyrighted.
I'm checking in the meantime, might as well.
Well, Joe, but sometimes it's hard to come up with a name unless you have a very specific message you want to convey with the company's name.
Like Platinum
like I said-
Games, I guess. So.
And like I said, also, you got to watch out for those copyrights here and there.
I mean,
the patent.
I mean, the reason he named this company Level 5 was because he wanted to pass off the message of the quality of the products being high. Even though it should be Star 5, considering he made the 5-star restaurant analogy, so it should be Star 5 rather than Level 5. But I guess it has to sound video gamey. I guess.
I think there's actually a company
Java?
called 5-Star Games.
Yes, Twix?
Oh, okay.
Java.
Then 5-star
Round
games
down
was
here.
taken. Okay.
Round here in the UK, 5-star is the name of a TV channel.
Okay. So why are you talking to me? That was Pedro that said that.
Yeah. So
Well,
basically, Web's
you mentioned-
copyright
you mentioned-
issues.
You mentioned why not use 5-star?
Yeah.
Oh, 5-star? Well, maybe 5-star gaming.
Well, like
Again,
Dwebs and
the
Teo
UK
just told
taken.
us. Yeah, like Dwebs and Teo just told us, the name is taken. So
Oh, no. I mean, but not specifically 5-star gaming. The way copyright goes is like, well, it can't be the exact same name at times. And again, there's some of those stupid cases like in movies where Sergeant Mr. Cameron copyright struck the name Avatar.
Yeah, well,
And
So I
yet
guess it-
Nickelodeon still put the Avatar name on
well,
the copy.
do we know for sure if it was him or it was just that?
Yes, we know. At the very least for that... Okay.
I'm sure it wasn't just Fox who wanted to. Sorry.
Okay,
I'm sure it wasn't Paramount and Nickelodeon who just wanted to, not avoid confusion.
Oh, no. We know for certain that Cameron and Fox had patented the name Avatar for that one. That's why they actually changed it, because they
Well,
didn't want to go into those.
Cameron sounds petty enough to do such a thing, so I'm not surprised.
Although,
Yeah.
I'm going to give Cameron some of the benefit of the doubt, like Pedro and Dwib said, and I think we should pin that more on Fox, who absolutely were petty against any other studio.
That
Not
too.
for- Let's not forget how they tried to pit Alvin and the Chipmunks against Star Wars. Well, here's the thing, Dwib. Fox were one of those special cases where they were extra petty.
Well, I mean, we can't say that now, can we? Because reasons.
Yeah, raisins.
Well, yeah, that's because Fox doesn't exist
So I'm
anymore.
guessing this is actually not a proper boss
Well,
level.
It is a boss level, Teo. Don't you see there the door of the skull?
I guess it took a bit to get there.
The bosses are always within their own levels. It's never just a boss in a level. There's always a level and the boss at the end.
Okay.
It's not like in Sonic 4 where the bosses have their own act of sorts. There you go. Usually in typical classic Sonic games, the final the fight against Eggman is always at the end of Act 2 or Act 3, depending on which game you're playing. However, in Sonic 4, they made the bosses their own act.
Boing.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing anyway.
Oh no, I don't mind either way. I'm just saying.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Strange color choice in the strange color choice in the color port. Purple.
It's purple. Oh.
I guess they didn't want to make him something like yellow because he wouldn't stand out from the rest of the colors.
No, don't you see? He's a yellow belly.
Well, true, but I'm talking about his
And he has
feathers.
a skull on it. Oh, and now it turns red.
Yeah, this game has this constant theme to whenever the boss is pissed off and on his last hit, he'll go red of rage or something.
Yeah.
There you go. As usual with Nintendo, as usual with Nintendo bosses, rule of 3.
Well, more like Mario bosses. Some Nintendo games feature way differently, especially in Metroid and Zelda's case.
True. I guess like Nintendo platformers more like.
Like I said, more just a Mario thing.
Let's see, 9. There you
Yeah,
go.
oh, you got it.
Alright, I got it.
Oh, I got it. Thanks. You owe me a free can of Coca-Cola if I ever come to Portugal now.
I thought you were a Pepsi.
That reminds me too.
I don't mind either.
Yes.
I came across this. Oh, hold on, cutscene.
So, what to do now since you cleared the ship? Oh, of course.
So long, sucker!
Mom, look out! We're heading for the airplane!
Actually, that's a hot air balloon.
Hey, syrup.
Now, my minions, let us take away the riches that rightfully belong to me.
Ah, I'm sorry, I dropped it.
Jerry, you better not be falling again.
Chapter
again, or I'm
3,
going to
Maze
give you another
Woods.
pay cut.
We need
Story
to
1.
get to the
Get
place.
to the Maze of Woods. Yeah.
Let's say something, Dan. All you pay us in are coupons, and we can't even get anything with them because we have to pay for something before we can use them.
That's because we had to steal back the treasure that you so callously
Also,
lost to Wario last time.
That poor owl.
Yeah, basically this is a new gimmick.
That owl is in protest.
Yes, this level introduces a new gimmick, the owl. Basically, the owl gives you unlimited flight. You can just fly around, all that stuff. However, if you get hit, you fall.
I love how Captain Syrup so callously abandoned her ship to Wario. It's like, dang, you give up that easily?
Well, the primary
Unless it's all part of the plan.
the primary point of the ship was to get to Syrup Tower. Okay, yes, we're going to have that final dungeon again from the first game.
So much of honor for a pirate ship, though.
Notice how that coin is a different color. Yeah, it's actually this guy who was fishing, and he uses a fake coin as bait.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is that when you play this on the original Game Boy version, you can't really. It's very hard to tell when the coin is fake because there's all of them look the same. But in the color version, they took advantage of the coloring to make the fake coin stand out with a gray color.
What happens if you
That's
collect
nice.
the fake? What happens if you collect the fake coin?
You just
You
saw.
get fished.
Well, check it out, Webs. I'm about to demonstrate in a moment. There you go. This happens.
You get fished. It's kind of a rare situation because that's clearly a catfish.
It actually works on your favor because you get to. There you go. See, you can. That's the only way you can get to the treasure room. So,
I thought you lose a coin.
no. The only way you lose coins is by either spending them on these minigames or by getting hurt.
Which is weird. There's some cases where you need to get hurt to progress, and those are the cases that don't lose your coins.
I'm pretty sure when.
Oh, that one. Yep.
I'm pretty sure when Goodfield made Kirby's Epic Yarn, they probably took inspiration from this particular, especially considering how they made Shake It, because Kirby's Epic Yarn all works on a similar fashion in the sense that Kirby cannot die, but if you get hurt, you lose all your jewels.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's kind of a practice that you see a lot in Lego games from Traveler's Tales.
Yes, and it started here, in this little handheld game that could.
Mhm. It thought it could. Chugga chugga.
There you go.
So in order to get to the actual woods, you need to pass through caves, I guess.
Yes. Oh, and I got myself a 100 value coin. Lucky.
Yay.
Ooh, what does that do?
It gives me 100 coins.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
wait,
exactly
never
as
mind.
it says on the tin.
I misheard. Yeah, it gives you 100. Which you will lose if you run into that spike
Also,
bomb.
Dr. Wily
Well, actually-
Bomb enemies.
Well, actually, no. The interesting thing about the getting hurt is that when you get hurt, you fall into the ground and you lose 2 coins per Like basically, here's how it is: when you get hurt, there's a knockback, and depending on where you fall, you may hit the ground either once or twice, and you lose 2 coins for each of those times you touch the ground in the knockback. However, if you fall into the water, like I could have that one point earlier, I wouldn't lose any coins, because you don't lose any coins when you fall into the water, because you just revert to swimming mode instead of going through the hurt animation. So
Wow, this game is really keen to break.
it is. Well, this game is this game is clearly meant to be more about the exploration rather than any kind of typical. There's still platforming, of course, but this game is clearly all about the exploration and collect fun.
Yeah. I guess the only thing I'd really add is maybe a difficulty setting that makes it so that you actually can die. If mind you, this is speaking of this, if this were a modern game. As it was, I could see why this would be a breath of fresh air, since let's not forget how Nintendo coined the TV trope, Nintendo hard, like a lot of times.
Yeah, but this game came...
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
a lot of times Nintendo games were your worst nightmare of difficulty, even on the quote-unquote easy mode.
Yeah, this game came out back in 1993, I think. At the time, games with immoral protagonists were not at all common. So
I can definitely see why this would have definitely been a nice thing for its time.
A
nice change of pace, yeah.
Yeah. This game was clearly made with more of an exploration in mind. Until later in Wario Land 2. Wario Land 3 also followed the same template as this game. It even uses the same engine and everything. It was in Wario Land 4 that they brought back the more traditional platforming. There's still exploration in Wario Land 4 and Shake It, but Wario Land 4 and Shake It definitely went back to a more traditional platform style design with a life bar and stuff.
So doesn't Wario Land 4 have like all the multiple endings based off of whether or not you collected this or that?
More like... personally, I kind of really prefer the 2 and 3 style just because of how unique it was. I didn't care much for Wario Land 4 personally. I mean, I
thought Wario Land 4 also had that exploration in mind.
No, it does. I'm just saying, like, but it still changed the design in very much, and it was quite the departure in terms of tone and style in a lot of ways, because, for example, the bosses instead of the typical cartoony Nintendo bosses that you see in 1, 2, and 3, 4 went for Japanese folklore-inspired bosses of all things, and it...
Okay. To be fair, 4 has the excuse that it takes place in a foreign land with another princess, Princess Shokoro.
True, but 3 also takes place inside a music box, and it still carries the same cartoony style from this game.
Also, some of the enemies in this game actually are based on. Some of the enemies in this game are still based on yokais or other mythology, like that fish that was hooking up with the fake coin. That's based on the catfish myth.
I guess.
So
it's just that the Japanese culture is way more prevalent in 4, so I guess that's the better way to put it. It was, don't get me wrong, it's fine for what it was. It was just a bit of a weird style change. I
agree.
Fortunately, Shake It went back to the more. They even brought back syrup and everything, because syrup is not in 4. I mean, come on! It's like having a traditional. It's like having a Super Mario Brothers without Bowser. Come on.
So Super Mario Brothers 2.
Well, that wasn't meant to be a Mario game at first, so...
Not to mention, Bowser wasn't really established as the main big bad guy of the franchise yet. So I can see why Wart was chosen instead. Alright.
Yeah.
And there you go. About time.
Shake It, I think, basically was probably the best balance they could come up with, where retaining the mortality of 4, while at the same time... basically doing exactly what I always love when 2D platformers do, which is do hand-drawn sprites that fully bring the concept art to life. Like if it were up to me, every single side-scrolling platformer would be done in the same style as Cuphead and Wario Land Shake It. But then again, I grew up with Aladdin and Earthworm Jim, so you guys know that I already have a very strong love for those kinds of platformers that go for the hand-drawn animation look. So.
Also, I can see that the floor here has actually holes, and Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
basically, it's a matter of there is a pattern to it, though, Teo. It's hard to explain if you're not playing it, but as you can see, there's a very consistent pattern between the land and the holes. So
Yeah, I can see that.
So you can like if if through a bit of trial and error, you can easily memorize where the holes are and skip them.
Here we go.
There we go. Who put these fire blocks here anyway?
I don't know. Like, let's be glad we're not operating on the logic of Mario 1.
It's also
that those were people.
another thing, Jove, is that that's the thing. This game is designed with the immortality in mind, so I don't know how a hard mode where you're immortal thing would work really, because a lot of the bosses, especially, are designed with the immortality in mind. So
Well, Epic Yarn. Apparently, the 3DS version of Epic Yarn actually has something sort of also the turtle is farting. Has some sort of hard mode where it actually introduces a health bar mechanic.
I guess, sure.
But again, I haven't seen much, and from what I heard, the 3DS port of Epic Yarn is a bit subpar.
Well, I don't think it was even made by Goodfeel, was it?
I think it was made by Grezzo. I need to check.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah.
I'm not sure though.
Well, Grezzo is Nintendo's go-to team for ports, so...
Let me check.
They might as well buy Grezzo at this point, since Grezzo works pretty much exclusively with Nintendo.
By who?
Grezzo. You know, the guys who... Nintendo's go-to studio for ports.
Okay.
Specifically 3DS ports. They ported Luigi's Mansion 1 to the 3DS, if I remember correctly.
They did the remake of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
And Majora's Mask. They're pretty much the go-to...
Okay, no, it doesn't state here who did the 3DS version. The only two companies that are stated are the one of the original, with Goodfeel and HAL Laboratory, obviously. But,
so maybe it was an actual port by Goodfeel? Oh. Well, Goodfeel recently released the new Yoshi's Crafted World. So
yeah, it stated, okay, in the page...
At the time of this recording.
The page of Goodfeel stated that, they were responsible for extra Epic Yarn. Alright, then.
There you go, then. Well, it's I mean, if it was Grezzo making it, I would understand, but considering Goodfeel themselves made it, it's a bit disappointing that the port was subpar.
I'm guessing it was like a side project or something.
I guess, maybe a project to test the younger developers or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the best way you can do this is take advantage of the... Oh, fuck.
Shit.
Alright, that's okay. We'll just break these then. We'll just break these then. There you go, see? There you go. Now let's see if we can get that one.
I wonder where's the treasure, though.
Well, explore and find.
Also, again, I have to state that the not transition, but the way Wario has to get to the woods is already like it's still a big level. So I wonder how the actual woods are.
Well, every single level in this game is huge. Like this game for the console that it was in, it's incredibly ambitious.
And you don't even have a map system actually. Like I know that you have like level select later on. But an actual in-game map, not in-game map, but something like
it's
like the Metroid games.
I would argue that it works fine without a map, considering the game is incredibly forgiving, instead that you can even die. So and while the levels are big, they are very easy to get accustomed to. Like they're very, very cleverly designed in the sense that I never, even back when I was a kid, I never really got lost in these levels because they're very clever to include lots of landmarks and recognizable layouts that are easy to memorize. So the game is very, very well put together in that regard, to the point where I never really felt the need for a map system, honestly. I guess it would be a nice help, but not required if you ask me.
Alright. Also, poor Mook.
Well, he's a giant mook.
Oh, the treasure here was a bow and arrow. Okay.
Yes. We stole Link's bow and arrow.
Has there ever been a game where you play as Wario and Mario as the villain?
Wait. You mean them together?
Yeah, like, what?
Super Mario 64 DS.
I mean, you play as Wario, and from his perspective, Mario is the villain.
Well, that's kind of what Wario Land 1 is, even though Mario only shows up in the very end.
At the end, for like a steal. Well, besides, I'm not sure Nintendo will ever love to make Mario purposefully antagonistic.
They did that with the second Donkey Kong game, but that was way before he was an actual character. That was the mascot of the company.
And they had to radically alter, like when Rare wanted to Savage also to continue the Donkey Kong series, they did all those radical changes specifically in order for people to forget about that interesting period for Mario.
I'm actually wondering if that's the main reason why Donkey Kong 2 is not hasn't been released on through the arcade archives yet. I
wouldn't be surprised.
It wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time Nintendo made a good guy character from Mario not entirely goody two shoes. I mean, remember they made the Toads rude to Luigi for some reason.
Yes, and Super Mario Galaxy 2 had that purple Luma that was for some reason racist towards Girmos.
Yeah.
But then again, but then again, Koizumi's team always likes to put in unorthodox touches to give the game a little extra pizzazz. So that was probably just Koizumi slipping something in while Miyamoto wasn't looking.
Also, hello there. What are you doing? Oh, electricity.
Yes, he's the Pikachu of the game, sort of, kind of, not really.
Sorry, guy. Authority figure slips something in while the other authority figure isn't looking. It's like that. It's like that bloody episode of that Kirby anime where DDD tries to make a show about himself, but everyone's like, no, we want to show about Kirby, so he slipped himself in to look like the hero while no one was looking.
Yeah, Koizumi has a very different vision for the franchise than Miyamoto has. A good example is the Rosalina storybook in Galaxy 1. That story was entirely written and put in by Koizumi himself without Miyamoto being consulted at all.
And it kind of shows. Especially
that's why I keep saying that the sooner Koizumi takes Miyamoto's place and is completely unimpeded by him, the better.
Well, at least I'm guessing for a positive, at least Rosalina became more staple for Nintendo and got promoted in different crossovers.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's nice.
All right, let's see. There we go. Be careful.
Where's Joba, by the way?
He very verbed.
Okay. It's just, the drawback to watching having both Discord and YouTube on an iPhone at the same time is I can't easily go back to about the YouTube video being affected.
All right, time to roll. Ah.
Keep rolling,
check my spin dash.
roll. Keep rolling. Yeah, the theme, the great theme song to The Undertaker's wonderful American badass gimmick.
How lovely.
Oh, hey, Joe. But yeah, it's
right.
It's like I was saying too. It boils down to the fact that the layouts are every single room is very distinguished from one another. So it's actually very easy to not get lost despite the size of the levels, because there's no room that looks exactly the same unless it's a very specific pattern purposes. Like for example, this particular room involves the rolling gimmick. There's another room that involves the owl gimmick. So there's always very different. And as a result, every single room in one level is distinct from one another. So it becomes very easy to recognize where you are.
That I understand, but there's also like a gajillion different doors that you had to enter and exit from, so I can guess that may be a bit disorienting.
I guess, sure. Personally, I never had an issue with it, but I can see why.
It's like that bootleg Lion King game where Simba has to go through a gajillion different doors on itself.
Well, that game had its own can of worms in general, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, it
was a good game still, though.
Wait, the bootleg Chinese Lion King game was a good game?
Java,
in what world?
Remember, Java, it's the
one... I thought you were talking about the SNES Lion King game made by Virgin Software.
No, that's the original game, Java, but the Chinese bootleg of that game is that one where the game over screen is Simba hanging himself.
And the last thing that you do is to ride a Nazi plane.
That's terrible.
The Chinese are incredibly messed up in the head, Whips. Don't bother.
Okay.
As you probably should know,
Joel from Vinesource found some other interesting stuff.
Joe brings up a good point. This is the same country that gave you Donkey Kong 97. Are you really surprised?
Hong Kong 97. I thought you said Honky Kong 97.
Hong Kong.
The missing members of the DK crew.
Alright, Hong Kong then. And fuck.
You really want that top slot?
Yes.
Every coin is important, Java.
Hey, this is a collectathon. I must collect.
Seeing me don't have a wall jump.
Well, even if he's acrobatic, Wario is still not exactly 100% agile.
The key is interesting, Teo, because Wario is fat.
The more time I waste with this, the further away risky boots. Not risky boots. Captain Syrup gets with my dress.
Does any of the future game give him something like a grappling hook or something?
No.
Definitely the same character, alright.
You know, dude, it's funny you mentioned that. I mean, it's almost kind of weird. I mean, I'll say this though. With how friendly Nintendo have been getting with indies, I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually get a crossover between Shantae and Wario.
Check, why not?
I mean, they've got similar gameplay styles. Their enemies are both voluptuous pirate ladies. Like, come on.
No, I got
it. There.
They'll make a Shantae game like that. But whoever she partners up with depends on what version you own. If you own like the PS4 version, it'll be Shantae and Sackboy.
Because everyone remembers Sackboy.
I do.
I mean, okay. I mean, yes. Sackboy does hold a place in some people's hearts. It's just... he's not really mascot material, even though Sony tried to pawn him off as a mascot at some point.
Sony can't use Crash Bandicoot, so...
Yeah, I know. It's just like, it was an awkward phase when they tried to have Sackboy be their mascot. Like, it didn't really take for a reason.
Well, then what about Shantae and Ratchet and Clank?
Okay, sure. They're an iconic enough duo.
Well, yeah, the Ratchet and Clank IP is a Sony IP, so I guess for all intents and purposes, Ratchet it kind of is the cartoony mascot at this point.
Considering the antics, though, the Sony franchise I would associate the most with Shantae would be, although I don't really like that, the Fat Princess.
Why?
What?
Well, a lot more cartoony art style, weird hijinks similar to the one of, say in this case Wario, or in that case Shantae. It seems to fit more in that case.
That is a good point.
Although the genres are slightly different. Fat Princess, if I recall, is more of a gestual kind of thing, with some RTS components.
Fat Princess isn't necessarily a bad game, it's just, it's a very, very, very acquired taste.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really played that game all the way through.
Me neither,
I just remember
honestly.
the one time I played it, I was kind of bored with it.
No, where am I going? Where am I going? The stage is right there.
Dweebs, every coin matter.
Hashtag coins matter.
Do the coins really matter though? When I appease to a certain death, I don't have to say I get
Wario, treasure's what you live for.
No, this is, in my head canon, Wario is living a very troubled and confused existence. Is the money worth it to him? Is it really worth going through all this effort just to have to fight against some wannabe pirates?
Waves, I'm not sure we will see in the near future a deconstructive game about the tropes associated with the Wario title.
If Sony owned the IP, that would probably happen.
I'm not sure. Like, I haven't seen, to give back to what was mentioned before, the Ratchet & Clank games, even though they tackled some serious issues in later games, they never became like they never critiqued their own past tropes or something.
The only one I can think of, is Uncharted 3, where Nate has to learn.
Two already starts off with Lazarevich questioning Nate's morality, but it's dropped basically.
Well, I wouldn't argue it's not so much about morality. It's more so about Nate realizing what it is worth searching a treasure for, like if it is all worth. And at the end, of course, Nate realizes that his future life with Elena is, of course, like Sully says at the end, true greatness is what you do with the hand you're dealt. But anyway,
but of course,
7.
Speaking of that, and since we were talking about that,
wrong answer.
Speaking of,
One.
It could still be 7.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
now it's 1.
One.
It could have still been 7. So
I was close.
I wonder what this painting is shaping up to be.
it's gonna be a typical Japanese painting with.
It is Wario's greatest creation. Wario beating the shit out of Captain whatever the fuck her name is.
Syrup.
See you for the next part, I guess.
Captain Ketchup, whatever. See ya.
See ya.
Ta-ta.